Welcome to the San Diego Real Estate Market Report for July 2025. My name is John McConnin. I'm a real estate attorney and broker. Now, we're going to cover inventory trends, median prices and days on market, buyer and seller shifts, mortgage pressure, and we're going to give a future outlook. So inventory is at 5-year highs, and we're going to see the data behind this. Prices are near the peak but softening, sales volumes declining, and demand is down. Now, some of this is pricing and some of this is interest rates. Now, I was surprised by this. I want to go back because even a few months ago, it looked to me like we were going to make new highs, but it's odd but true. The median price per square foot in San Diego, and you can see this is from my association. This is the data. InfoSparks is part of my realtor software and data. And when I log into the CRMLS, the largest MLS in the country, which includes San Diego MLS data, I can click on this, and I can get the whole MLS, San Diego Association, and we see the data, and the price per square foot median hasn't really changed since April of 2022. Now, if we go to average, we see the same thing, really. So that data was surprisingly accurate to me. I had my AI pull it all in from all over the web. Now, inventory. This also surprised me because just a few months ago, I was talking to my home sellers about whether we had multiple offers and which offers they should take. And I told them it's not happening in Pacific Beach. I said Pacific Beach is still screaming with low inventory, but it's starting to soften around other areas of San Diego. I'm talking to agents, and they're saying sometimes they're not getting multiple offers. I talked to a lot of investors who were trying to buy our property, and some of them were coming in strong and some were coming a little weaker, and the ones that are coming in weaker say, well, I got 3 properties, they're not selling, so I gotta be careful. So we were getting anecdotal and mixed data, but now it does seem clear that inventory is up. Now, I think it's because we'll get into more of that in the next few slides. Now, affordability squeeze, interest rates are at 6.82. San Diego's there as well. But of course, these numbers are a little off because, what kind of loan? Are we looking at jumbos? Are we looking at over $1 million, under 800? I mean, it's hard to get under 7 in San Diego for many buyers. Now, this is a great stat. Each 1% increase in mortgage rates reduces buying power by approximately 10%. So if you are going to, if interest rates are at 5, and your payments would be, say, $5,000 a month. If interest rates go to 6, your payments are going to be $5,500 a month. And I found that to be pretty accurate because I was watching interest rates a few years ago in the 2s and 3s, and when it went up to 7, I did some videos on it. I was like, wow, this is like 40% more, 40% more. And it seemed to echo that 1% equals 10%. Now, what this means for buyers. More choices, more power. Now, I would say in San Diego that I sold a lot, but my website was upsidedownrealestate.com. Even in the short sale market, the homes that were well priced or the nicest homes in the neighborhood, because the real estate agents would come out and buy those. They'd be like, well, these are the nicest homes in the neighborhood. They're always going to hold their value better than the other ones. And, we know after watching this, prices are based on price per square foot, and appraisers come out and they look at the price per square foot in the area, and the lenders want to go off that. An appraiser can give a little bit of juice for a nicer than the average property, but there's frequently properties that are so much better than their neighbors, and they only get a little bit more. And you're selling one of those. Like, you get a sense when you're selling them too, but it when the buyers are showing up are realtors without their own clients, or realtors who actually call up and say, I'm interested in buying the property for my family or my friends. And then they find out that there might be other offers, and they're like, John, will you represent me? Even though they're entitled to the buyer agent commission. But, and in exchange for that, they want maybe a right of first refusal on the other deals. They want to know where the other offers are, and then I have to go discuss it if I can agree to their terms and tell my seller why this might be a good buyer to do this with or not. But I would say that don't wait on gems, or if you see the gems, do not wait for your buyer's agent. Get in touch with that listing agent right away, set up a showing, talk to that agent about whether there's multiple offers, see if they'll do a way to help you protect. Maybe put $2,000 to $5,000 down to have an attorney reviewed. I help a lot of buyers buy direct from the listing agent. And if you see a gem, prices could get a little weaker. They could still go down, but there aren't the gems. And it can always be different. This time could be different. But when you find the gems in the neighborhood, those cul-de-sac lots, the lots with the views, the elevated properties, the prices, the single-story homes selling like a two-story for pricing, those are the opportunities you should be considering. Now, what does this mean for sellers? Price is still strong if positioned right? Yes. Extended market periods, be prepared, especially if you don't have one of the top properties. Concessions, sellers are making concessions, and we're starting to see some price reductions. Now, I will do a seller's webinar on this, but I think there's a few things you want to consider. You want to do your disclosures ahead of time so you can in a slowing market, a lot of savvy buyers will be like, well, I'll get this property under contract. Also, if anything better becomes available, because there's now choice, and they'll back out after they've locked you down for 17 or 21 days. So one of the things you want to do is do your disclosures ahead of time. So first of all, that opens up buyers' pockets as they go through and they see you're credible. They're like, oh, I don't have to hold money back. But secondly, by putting that out ahead of time, if they make an offer that you're not totally in love with, you could counter a little bit on price, but you can also shorten the time period so they can't tie up the property forever. So that's a very important thing to remember. If the market's getting a little soft, and if it's soft now this summer, the fall's probably going to be soft. I'd still sell my property. I mean, like these prices are still good. If you're thinking of selling, this might be ideal. But you need to work with an agent who's priced in soft and down markets. The vast majority of agents haven't experienced the market from more than 10 years ago. Yeah, like 12, 15 years ago. And you need to work with agents who knew how to sell property. It did sell properties back then, dozens of them. So be prepared for extended marketing periods if you're on the high side on your pricing. Concessions, price reductions, basically disclosures ahead of time. Give them to the buyers. Tie down the time frames. Hire agents with experience. Have questions that they answer before they get to your property. Make sure you know whether they're going to try to sell one property at a time or if they're going to try to develop sort of a multiple offer buyer blitz weekend where all the buyers see themselves. Maybe you get some offers and then you can have the offers negotiate against each other. Like, know what their strategies are even before they come to your property. See if they're going to represent. If they know their reason for being able to sell your home well, see if they can express it to you and whether you think that person's going to be credible when talking to a buyer or a buyer agent. And I just thought this was pretty funny. I live in Poway, and there's a new development that they built on a golf course that I was once a member of, and I just realized, I was like, wow, the AI, the grass is different, but the house itself is pretty good approximation of what went on in the new development in Poway. Now, Carlsbad. Interesting. You can see prices are kind of mixed. Encinitas, they're up 10% year over year. They're down in other places, but some of this is also the sporadic data coming in. It goes up and down. Like price per square foot goes up and down based on if a $4 million property sold, it's unusual for the neighborhood, and it's sold well, I can really pull things up. So it bounces around. I'm going to go through this data in a second with you, just to confirm some of these things. But anyway, this is the analysis of what's going on right now. I would say it's mixed. It's probably going to be mixed in a lot of your areas. It's Oceanside, 40 days on market. That's getting concerning. Rancho Santa Fe, their days on market goes up and down because, they're very expensive homes. And it's really whether there's a cluster or a few purchases or not. Del Mar is similar, but Del Mar is still, as far as I can tell, there's still good demand in Del Mar. Now we can see that in Carlsbad, median price was down 6.2% to 1.5 million. I think that's going to be, actually, no, let me just say, the prices bounce around based on recent data. So, that seems extreme. In fact, let me go type in Carlsbad and bring that data over. That's really what I got to do. Carlsbad, Unified. We'll do the whole school district. And we'll see if that data is really doing the job for us, if it's just the bouncing data. So let's go to price per square foot average, price per square foot median. It is off since last year, so I could see 817. Yeah, I could see why it's seeing that. Now let's go to month supply. This is really a telltale thing, and it's no longer the crazy seller's market. I mean, that was nuts. It was like 14 days at one point. Half a month. There you go. That's a lot of inventory for Carlsbad, in my experience. Now, price per square foot, an average. It's off a little bit. Pending sales, it's kind of normal. Active listings going up, so there's, well, let's see if new listings. Nothing unusual, so it's just they're not selling as fast. Let's go with days on market then. That was month supply, days active in the MLS. So it's going up, it's gone up from 22 to 36. That's significant. That's median, that's average. And this is median 9 to 19. Shows per listing is an interesting thing, and they're going down. All right. Shows the contract. Well, I would have thought that was going up. Maybe that's why the shows per listing are going down. Yeah, that's okay. So total closed sales. I mean, you guys can conclude this is me. I think it's a market that's more balanced than it used to be, and probably could get weaker in the fall. But that's if interest rates stay where they are. I think what's going on with the stable coin and banking and the new rules, if stable coin is going to be backed by mortgages or bonds, all the bond stuff might get soaked up. So bonds might get purchased. So interest rates might go down. I mean, so, who knows? It's a difficult market to forecast because of technology. Now, Del Mar Heights, one of the few areas showing strong price appreciation. I don't know why the AI put Heights in there. Up 3%, 3.3% year over year to 2.5 million, driven by limited inventory and continued demand. Encinitas, prices, 65% of homes selling in under 30 days. Prices up 9.9% over year. That's a big number. Let me go in and see if that's accurate. Encinitas. That's the city. And price per square foot. Yeah. Depending on when you're comparing it to, the average is up, median's up. So, no, the median's a little up. I mean, that could have been an aberration for May. Well, that's the best time of year. Driven by walkability to beaches and downtown amenities. That is why people love Encinitas. Now we got Rancho Bernardo, Carmel Valley. Slight year-over-year price declines, but maintaining strong demand for updated homes near major employment centers. Yeah, I mean, that is the story of Carmel Valley and to some degree Rancho Bernardo. I live right next to Rancho Bernardo in Poway. My office is in Rancho Bernardo. Now, signs of market softening. Sellers offering credits, some rate buy downs. Homes are still selling above list sometimes. Home price with drops, the dark blue. Clear cooling, decrease in home selling above ask, down to 29% from 68% last year. Majority of sellers now making concessions to close deals. Rate buy downs emerging. More homes sitting on the market 30 days. Price reductions in most areas. 42% of active listings experiencing one cut. Where the market is headed. Rate dependent trajectory. Buyer opportunity winner. Seller strategy. I feel like we already covered that pretty well. So I agree with this. Mortgage rates remain near 7%. Expect further softening and increased seller incentives. However, if they drop below 6, We might see a rebound. I would watch stablecoin, the developments there, and whether they're really going to, that could be millions or not billions of mortgages being bought up. Not mortgages, bonds. That kind of demand would probably drive rates down. Although I'd have to pay more attention. I don't know what the Fed's been doing with these bonds. Are they buying them all and then selling them? We have to look into that. So buyers, you want to get pre-approved. You want to focus on what you consider value properties. Like, for instance, if you're looking long term, the best properties in the neighborhood are frequently the value properties. Fixer-uppers, are value properties because you make them the way you like, but you will have competition. Again, the keys here are to talk to the listing agents before you hire a buyer agent. And also understand that some listings are not necessarily going to offer buyer agent commission. So I wouldn't sign a buyer agent agreement. You don't have to under California law. You do not have to sign a buyer agent agreement in which you agree to pay your broker until you're making an offer on the property. So you don't have to sign one of those things your realtor is making you sign. It's not the law. It's a trade association rule. So I'd keep flexible. I'd consider working with buyer's agents on a one property at a time basis after I got the information I needed to make a good decision. So that is, make sure you contact the listing agent before hiring a buyer's agent, because the best homes and the best houses are still going to have, or likely still, I don't know when you're going to see this, but I predict they're still going to have multiple offers. Sellers, you want to prepare, you want to do all the things you've heard. You've got to set your pricing strategy to your marketing strategy. And, I'm flexible when I'm talking to my agents. If they want to price a little high, great. But what are we going to do to get showings so that there's a lot of things to talk about. I don't necessarily say, and believe me, most of my sellers don't want to anyway, price low so they get multiple offers. You're going to price high, but then you have to do other things so that you get multiple offers. Strategic incentives can always work. You can really take advantage. If you think you might agree to pay buyer agent commission, and most sellers do, then you might as well offer buyer agent commission the way realtors used to do it and market to the agents. Go to the MLS caravans and say, hey, come see the property today. We are offering buyer agent commission. Maybe even offering 0.5% more for a contract within 30 days. That's how I sold properties in down markets, including my own. So there's so many strategic incentives. But what you shouldn't do is just sit back passively and wait for agents. I cannot believe this advice that listing agents are giving. Well, we'll talk about buyer agent commission when the offers come in. Well, the buyer agents have to, if they're realtors, and almost all of them are, they have to get their buyer to agree to buyer agent commission before they show the property. So they're already going to be locked in to 2.5% or 3%. And you're not going to be able to negotiate that if you follow the regular buyer agent, the listing agent process now, which is very passive. And I really feel it costs sellers money. So understand that you want to talk to agents who know how to sell to multiple offers and can protect you from buyer's agents and buyer agent commissions. So you want to decide all these things ahead of time. Now, if you'd like to talk to us more, just one of the ways that you can find me is my name's John McConnin. One of my websites is favoriterealestate.com. But if you'd like to set up a strategy session, I go to winnerscheck.com and set up a strategy session with me, and we can talk to you about how to buy direct from the listing agent, or at least be prepared before you hire a buyer's agent. At least be prepared to utilize a buyer's agent when you should, and work with the listing agent when you should. And for sellers, I don't really understand how anybody would sell their home just sitting back passively and saying, we'll wait for buyer agent commissions to be requested. Because they are. You're not waiting. There's no surprise. They're going to come in and ask for 2.5% or 3%, and you'll have gotten no benefits of marketing that are tied to the buyer agent commission. So I don't even know why you'd be offering it at that stage, in many circumstances. So there's ways around that problem. I'd love to talk to you about it, and we can put you in touch with the listing agents who will follow a logical process anywhere in the country. So, one time, well, here, I pretty much just said that. Now, if you work with us, we will, and you're selling your own, we will do your disclosures. We can do those over the phone just as part of the free strategy session, which I might charge for in the future, but as of now, it's free. All right, thanks. Talk to you later. Bye. Now, I will now, for those people that still want to look, well, I think we covered it. We'll just go to the entire MLS We'll take a look at what's going on in the whole state. Well, it's the largest MLS in the country. See, this is why we weren't doing it. It's kind of clunky. Now, median price per square foot, average price, month supply, inventory is going up, all in the largest MLS in the country. So this includes Southern California, a lot of some Middle California, and even parts of Northern California. So days on market, not as bad, but month supply going up. Active listings going up, pending sales going down, closed sales hovering, price per square foot holding. Now, let's go back now to let's see if we got North San Diego County Association. Price hovering, just like we were saying, month supply going up. Well, it's really surprising to me to see these really are like this is from 2020 highs. Month supply though this is now we're coming towards a balanced market. All right, thank you. For more information, winnerscheck.com. Thank you.